everyone. My name is Sarah Webb, and I'm the editor of AgriBusiness Global. For this AgriBusiness Global report, I'll be speaking with Jim DeLisi, Chief of Fanwood Chemical, Inc., about recent updates on the tariff and trade situation. Jim, thanks so much for joining me today. Jumping right into the questions here, can you talk to me about some of the most recent developments in the tariff and trade situation, specifically when it concerns the current Supreme Court case that's going on?
On the Supreme Court, we're definitely right now in a wait-and-see mode. Some of the pundits that really understand the court thought there was a chance that as early as December 15th that there could be a ruling. There are some people that think the fact that it's gone this long means that Chief Justice Roberts is trying to work out a reasonable compromise. Frankly, I'm not sure there is one. The way the president did the tariffs, in my mind, is either illegal or not. And if it's not, the chances are there will have to be refunds, and that may be the sticking point in the Supreme Court right now. But Secretary Besson, whom you can pretty much take to the bank, has had open discussions about having refunds in some of the financial press and on TV. The president does suggest that he has options because he has talked about this some, but none of them are as simple or as quick as what he's been able to do with the IEEPA tariffs. Those options include further expansion of the 301 process, since China has been subject to 301 tariffs since Trump's first administration. He could basically do what he wants to do with China on their very, very short notice. The so-called Tranche 3 tariffs could easily go to 30% from 25%. The 4A tariffs could go from 7.5 to 15, and the 4B tariffs, which have never been implemented, could go to either 7.5 or 15 with the stroke of a pen. And if he wanted to do more than that, he probably could under the 301 since the process has been followed. If you wanted to do other countries with a 301, he would have to follow the process, which would probably take a minimum of 5 or 6 months for Commerce to run all the traps they have to do in order to institute a 301 action. There's a so-called 122 process, which allows for 15% across the board for a time limited at 150 days. That's probably not something he's going to want to do, especially since at the end of the 150 days, Congress would have to agree to extend. On countries that buy Russian oil, there still is in the Senate a bill that has 80-some-odd co-sponsors to give the president free rein to institute tariffs on countries that buy Russian oil. That would include the EU, China, Turkey, India, who are already subject to tariff for Russian oil, Brazil, and maybe some others that have been buying Russian oil, so that would give him a tremendous amount of leverage should he ask the Senate to pass that bill. It's expected that bill would pass very quickly and that the House would also go along. The Section 232 could be expanded, but that would also require an investigation, which would take time, as would a 338. All of these others sections require a process, and so are unlikely to meet the president's requirements. So wait and watch. I'm sure that when the Supreme Court issues a ruling, it will be trumpeted all around the world. And if they do rule the tariffs illegal, the first 4 or 5 months of next year are going to be a lot of fun, because we really, at this point, don't completely have an understanding of what market prices are for agrochemicals that are subject to the tariffs. And you can bet that the purchasing agents, especially in the large companies, are not going to want to give importers increases to reflect the tariffs that in some cases they've eaten. So it's going to be an exciting time if the tariffs are rejected over the next few months as things sort out. And the other side of it is there's an awful lot of people that are really concerned about losing the tariffs because they've got some pretty expensive inventories if the tariffs disappear. So it's going to take a lot of sorting out to see how all this is going to be handled, depending upon how the Supreme Court rules.
Definitely. We'll have to keep an eye on that one.